All right, Coach, first of all, can you just give general thoughts coming out of the locker room after the win?
Yeah, I told our guys it's tough to draw a lot from this game, just like it's tough to draw a lot from last week's game. You go out and you do your best to operate, and I thought there was a lot of great today. There was a lot of good learning today. But you never want to hang your head after a win. I think our guys were excited. And as hard as our guys have worked, they deserve to have a smile on their face. And I want them to have fun playing football. And I think that was evident today. So you feel like you did your job as a coach. And my job is tomorrow going to be able to take all those correctable mistakes that we made today and help us try to get better.
Cody, you lose your center on the very first
Oh.
of the game, and then you struggled to snap the ball to the quarterback.
Did we ever?
What was your message to the kids at that point?
I just said, hey man, you got to work on controlling your response. We talked about controlling the controllables last night, and that's going to be the measure of how far this team can go. Is handling whatever adversity or positives come your way and just doing the next best thing. And obviously, if you're looking at guys that are probably, I say, irreplaceable in that room, I mean, Alex has done an unbelievable job. He's the leader of that room. And if you ask me what the worst case scenario for the game would be, that would probably be it, is to lose Alex on the first play of the game. So obviously got thrown a curveball, and then, we had a contingency plan with a guy who, haven't put the striker in, but Zach's a guy that may not be, as physical as striker, but he's played center before. And we know that we got to be able to get the ball back there in order to operate as an offense. And I appreciate Stryker just taking it in stride, going back to left guard and doing his job. And Zach coming in, he's done a great job preparing, and him and Alex are actually really close. We obviously love Alex's leadership, and Zach's kind of the incumbent center. But I would have hoped that it would come at a later date than today.
Do you have any kind of an update on Alex, Cody?
I don't know how much I can share. I mean, he'll be out a while. Okay. We gotta make sure he gets checked out. Anytime you have those lower extremity injuries, you're never really excited about it, and that's not something you easily bounce back from. But I know Alex will be engaged, and he'll be a leader regardless of whether he gets to play or not. And I know Zach will prepare his fanny off and try to put us in the best position possible.
How did you feel Zach performed?
I thought he did a great job. I mean, I think his first snap was a little erratic too, but once he settled in, he did a good job. I thought we ID'd stuff okay, and Coach Hughes did a great job coming up with some adjustments that were really clear and concise for the front. And I don't know what the exact stats ended up being from a protection standpoint, but they came out and threw some funk at us until I think they kind of settled down in the second half and just said, hey, let's do what we do. They were doing stuff in the first half, trying to put themselves in a position to win the game. And I think once it got away from them, they just played more basic stuff. But the funk that was getting thrown at them was stuff that Zach hadn't seen on tape. And hats off to him for adjusting and playing calm and helping the team operate out there.
Coach, what did you think of the overall job Kobe did?
I thought Kobe did a great job. The thing that Kobe did best is just kind of taking the feedback, looking at now that we have the film on the sidelines, and just being steady Eddie. That when negative things happened, he was ready to roll, and he owned it when there were mistakes that he made, and he made plenty of mistakes today. But how he reacted builds a lot of confidence with that offense, because they know that he's not thinking about it anymore. He's going to go out there and put the position in the best position possible. And when you communicate something to Kobe, you see those immediate changes and updates happen when you're on tape or on the field. So that gives confidence to the staff. And we wanted to throw a lot at him today, and I thought getting that game reps, he's still talking about stuff that, it's different for him and where his eyes have to be against certain looks and coverages. And, for every quarterback, you're always looking to hit a home run, I think sometimes, but getting guys to take a deep breath and just take what's there the first time, it doesn't matter if you're playing the Packers or Pocatello High School. It's, hey man, with that many guys in between the hashes, we're thinking outside, and your progression is your progression. Those reads are sacred. So really appreciate his buy-in this week and the way that whole quarterback room has really supported Kobe to get better. And it was fun to see a couple of those guys get in there and play, and just appreciate their effort all around.
One thing's for sure, we spread the ball around. You had a lot of guys catch passes today.
Yeah, well, I think anytime an offense is operating efficiently, that there should be a lot of touches, right? I know Mike Leach had the quote that balance is not runs and passes. Balance is attacking all areas of the field and making sure multiple players are threats on any given play. And I think, I'm not Mike Leach, but I think it's a pretty good philosophy to get guys involved. And you love to see guys have success, because I do think we have a deep football team, and we need all those guys to be ready, just like we need Zach Sharoma to be ready tonight. And that paid off, because last year that would have been a problem scenario. And tonight I thought they responded admirably, and whether it was the ones or the twos or the threes who went in there, I thought there were a lot of good things done and a lot of correctable mistakes that'll help us going into the future.
And you also rushed for 100 yards, 100 and some yards today.
Yeah. Well, I thought we probably would have wanted to run it a little bit more, but they came out and played so much, drop 8 right at the beginning that you wanted to still work Kobe into a rhythm. You didn't just want to say, hey, let's just run the ball. You want to work things into a rhythm of, hey, what type of offense are we? What are we going to need to be able to do? Obviously, when you have a front like they were presenting in the first half, we probably should have ran it more. But I wanted to get Kobe a lot of pops just to try and fast forward his growth and development in our system.
And speaking of, even once we got into the third, the fourth quarter, when the game is starting to look a little bit out of reach, we still saw a lot of passing. Was there ever a thought of maybe we should shut this down, or were you thinking, hey, maybe we should get some guys some reps?
I think a lot of that's just getting guys reps. And we weren't taking shots and calling the funky plays, The only one that we kind of did was trying to get Jackson Riddle a ball down the middle just because he's the hometown hero, and we wanted him to have a shot, to have a big play and get excited. But we knew that was just a certain look deal. I think you want to go out and operate, because whether it's snaps or ID in fronts or going through your progressions on 5-yard passes, we need to go out and operate. And for whether it's Kobe or our receivers, understanding route adjustments, they need as many looks as they can get. So we changed our play calling a little bit, but you're not going to change your philosophy.
Ian Duarte, talk about his play. Had a great start first quarter.
Yeah, and Ian played awesome, and I think he probably could have had a couple more if we weren't in such a steady rotation. But the thing about Ian that you really love, he's got a fantastic attitude. He's super consistent, and I think all the quarterbacks feel that Ian is a really good athlete. He's not electric, but he's so consistent. I think the quarterbacks just have a ton of faith in him, and the staff has a lot of faith in him. The thing you love about Ian is he's just the quintessential Idaho kid. I mean, he snowboards, he fishes, he's a great teammate. Whether he plays 100 snaps or 1 snap, he's the same guy every single day, and he's really been a joy to coach. We're really lucky to have him on the football team. He's one of many Eagle Mustangs who've done a great job for us, and I'm really excited about his development and excited to see him continue to grow throughout the season.
So when Shaden James left, you said, we've got a lot of receivers, but we don't have somebody that is as consistent as Shaden was yet. Is Ian becoming that?
Well, 1 week does not make a season, and I think it was, we've had so much competition in that room that he probably hasn't gotten as many reps. I would say we were not as deep last year, so Shaden kind of took the flag early and ran with it. But Ian has emerged as that guy. If you look at his production throughout fall camp, he catches the football, he runs the right route, he shows up every day, very consistent mentally, very consistent with his execution of reads and plays, that our guys are starting to feel that. Now, it remains to be seen how it goes out through the course of the season, because athletically, people are going to play it different every week. Is he going to be as effective against man as he is against zone, and vice versa? But really proud of him, love having him. Our quarterbacks really appreciate him. He'll continue to be a big factor for us.
How did you get on to him from a recruiting standpoint?
Well, I think when I first got the job, the first thing you want to do is say, wow, this is late in the process. How do we go get the best players we can and do a good job, at least locally? If you're not going to go get a bunch of elite players trying to say, hey, let's start with that culture first. And guys like Nathan Reynolds and Ian Duarte give us an opportunity to do both. And Shaden was he was in front of Ian a little bit last year, but Ian didn't bat an eye. Nathan ended up getting to play a little bit earlier. But he was a guy, we watch on tape, he was actually committed to Bryant. And he was a guy, when you're thinking, okay, if we're going to throw the ball and we need slot receivers, he's the perfect guy for that. So had an opportunity to talk to him and his mom and dad. He has a fantastic family. Obviously, the people at Eagle just thought he was awesome. And he's one of those players that when you're going around, you're doing a lot of your introductions at other high schools saying, hey, who are the best players in the state? Everybody's like, man, if you're going to throw the ball, you need Ian Duarte on your football team. And it's been awesome to see just the type of person he is when you get those recommendations. Obviously, seeing a guy with great high school tape gets you excited, but he's definitely, he's been a massive cultural boon for us just in everything he does.
Cody, he's a newer face on the team. People don't know him quite as much yet. How do you feel Gabe Panikowski did today?
Oh boy, Gabe. Gabe is a sweetheart of a guy. And it's awesome to see him coming. He has unbelievable leg talent. And, in kicking in the dome, he runs into a lot of issues because if you hit the ceiling, if you hit the white, it's a re-kick. I actually think we got lucky on one of the kicks. it hit the white, but it may have just gone past the uprights. But we're going to have to re-kick some this year because he can absolutely bang it. Gets a lot of lift, which helps you out from a protection standpoint. Excited to see, him and Ross being able to share duties because Ross can do it all, but you want those guys to split because, man, that's a lot of wear and tear on your legs. And I hope we give Gabe the opportunity to have a lot of PATs and hopefully not as many field goals. We should have finished more drives today. But, yeah, man, really, really awesome when you have a guy just show up and be a wonderful person and execute at a high level, and Gabe's done that.
Same on the special teams front. You had a blocked punt for a touchdown. It's the first time since 2007, I believe, that the Bengals have done that. What did Jaden Bell do on that play to get the gun?
Well, first of all, Jaden Bell, the thing he does is he prepares his absolute tail off every single day. You look at guys that have just been absolutely frothing at the mouth for the opportunity to play football. It's him. I told you, we had not seen him play live football until this fall camp since I showed up here. But seeing his tape at Highland, looking at him, knowing the type of guy he is, you were just kind of hoping that the production would match the hype and what there was. And, man, I'll tell you what, he's been a special player. And having him kind of back there with pitcher, being able to play is great. When you talk about special teams, you want detailed guys that are long and athletic and tough, and he is all of those things. And he'll continue to make plays for us in every phase of football and on special teams this year, but he's going to continue to carve out a bigger role on D as well.
I asked the guys this, I'll ask you the same question. Cool, we had a 50-10 win, but we have North Dakota next week. We have an FCS opponent that's going to be ranked in the top 25. How do you take the win that we just took and just pivot right into prep for game?
Well, it's the same thing that you get into guys last week. Is my message is always going to be it's the Bengals versus the Bengals. And those snaps had nothing to do with who we were playing. The missed reads had nothing to do with who we were playing. And that's where you want to try and play guys a little bit more in these opportunities just so you can see more live action so those reps become a little bit more second nature. Whether you're communicating up front, it doesn't matter who's in the uniform. You got to make sure you ID it appropriately and play. So obviously going on the road next week, we're so thankful for a 6th home game. It really helps us out in the preseason. Road games are hard to win at any level. I'm going to play a FCS playoff member. I have a ton of respect for the Fighting Hawks. I've lost games there before and had tight battles with them and when they came to our place. But they're a darn good football team, and Coach Schweikert has done a great job. And they're going to try to hit us in the mouth. They're going to be as well coached as anybody that we play. And boy, that dome's a unique place to play. I'm sure it'll feel nice to be inside for our guys. There's a little bit of hominess in there, but it's a spacious place. Those fans are proud, and there's a darn good football team that's going to hit you in the mouth.
Now, this was a big win today. Was it a statement win?
No. I mean, I think if today's a statement win, we're probably not trying to make very pronounced statements. I think it just, last week where I said it was one of those extra medium victories where you're like, well, we didn't play awful, but we did some good things, and I'm not disappointed, but I'm not really going to pat myself on the back either. I think this is that type of game as well, is there's so many correctable pieces in all phases, and, you look at, our guys, like with the resources that we have, that's probably what you should do when you have a D2 opponent on there. I think the biggest thing that you want to do is you want to show the guys those positive things can happen. You want to create that neuromuscular patterning in guys that, hey, when they call this play, good things happen. And it's definitely not a statement win. I mean, we got to do a better job of winning home games against FCS opponents before we start patting ourselves on the back. Man, am I proud of our guys? Absolutely. Do I want them to enjoy it and smile? Absolutely. But I want them to get better and know that if we want to get where we want to go, we got to wake up tomorrow and get better.
You've mentioned correctable mistakes a lot. What are some of those things that you think you're gonna need to correct before next week?
Operational stuff. I mean, we got to be able to get the snaps. We got to hang onto the football. How many balls we put on the ground that we didn't turn over was an absolute problem. We threw 2 interceptions that you're going to throw picks, but I'd rather have picks on batted balls that go up in the air when you make a good read and the DB makes a good play. Bad reads are not excuses for interceptions, and we expect our guys to operate at a higher level than that. Now, the response was fantastic, so you love that, but I think for us to compete against the better teams at this level, we're going to have to execute a more clean game. On defense, man, they did a great job shutting down the run for the most part, but you give up a couple explosives and you kind of give up that touchdown at the end that our guys know, yeah, that might be the 2s out there, but we're going to need them at some point. So whatever the call is, whatever the formation is, that fit needs to be correct. So I'm excited for those guys to learn and get better. I hope our fits improve. I hope our reads improve. I hope our ball security and snaps and operation improve. A lot of really good learning, but man, there's no replacement for experience, which is why playing quality non-conference games where you can get a lot of guys in is really important.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Coach.
Coach.
Thank you so much. Yeah, appreciate you.
Thanks, Cody.